Hey, welcome back to Whitetail Garage. Last week you saw the engine get put together, painted, and ready to go in. So that's ready. Next, we got to get this done. So the very next thing is to get this corner worked out. So you can see this is the back side of that apron is all completely rusted out. Down here on the bottom as well. And then the core support is actually a little rusted here in the corner, but it ended right there anyway. So we've got, about an inch of deterioration there. And so my plan is to use good metal from this panel to come in and put a patch on the back side for the core support there, and you see in that corner as well. That's what I'm going to try and do. I'm not a body guy by any means. In fact, I've never done this before, so I'm not suggesting it's going to turn out pretty or great, but hopefully after I grind my welds down, it will look good enough. I'm also using an old, antiquated, and 220 volt Harbor Freight MIG welder, so that might be way too much. I think I can turn the heat down enough to do this thin metal. So we'll obviously be doing some test stuff first to make sure that I'm not just going to be blowing holes in it. The other thing I noticed, I got a lot of rust up here that was up underneath the paint. The paint was bubbled, so I popped that off where the paint was bubbled. And my plan is to at least open up all the rust and get some rust reformer on it. And then all of this is going to go black. I know a lot of cars typically do the body paint up to the end of this firewall extension or whatever you call this piece here. They usually paint this and this the same color of the car. I'm going to go ahead and go basically from the weather strip down to be all black, but looks like this is kind of the correct concours way. But again, not a concours car, so not terribly worried about it. What I've done is just drawn a little cheesy template of the two fenders and just counted out the holes that are there, and then I'm going to pick out some measurements and write them down. I've never done this before, so I've looked at other YouTube videos on how to do it, and apparently everybody's Mustang measures different because of the way that they were manufactured, so my numbers aren't going to be your numbers. So I'm not going to show you the numbers that I've got, but I'm going to measure those out, and then from there we will sand down everywhere there is a spot weld, then hit it with a punch, and then draw out the spot welds and see if we can get this thing out. The very first thing I go to remove is this bolt to get out this brace that goes on both sides. It's extra for the convertible. It's bolting into this panel that we need to remove, and this guy is spinning. I don't know if it's normally tack welded in there or not, but I'm going to use a clamp to clamp it down and then unbolt it. Go juice. I guess it's not ever tacked on there. I don't see anything that would suggest that it is. Alright, so I got all the spot welds sanded so it makes it real easy to see them. Now I'm going to hit them with a punch. I've got it all in here and across the bottom. I may be missing some. I went about that fairly quickly because it's pretty easy to pull them to the surface, or they're actually an indentation, so it's easy to show them off by sanding the surface. Sorry about the fan, it is really hot. So now I'm going to hit everything with a punch and start drilling it out. In a previous life, I was a diesel technician, and I'll tell you one of the best punches I ever found. Somebody else showed me this trick, but the injector out of like a old school Ford or old school Cummins diesel injector, that right there, that tip is so hard to be able to withstand the pressures that it keeps that super sharp point. And I don't know how many times I've used this as a punch. It's by far the best punch I've ever had. Never have to sharpen it. I have all the spot welds center punched. Now I'm going to use this spot weld cutting. I've never actually used it before. I've never used any of them, so this isn't like a great review. I can't compare it to anything else. I've only ever used a drill bit, but this is like a drill bit with that cutting bit on it. So I'm going to try it out and see how it works. Alright, so I drilled out all of these. About to start hammering and see if that was enough. Good practice to mark these holes, at least that's what I'm told. That way you don't accidentally weld these up thinking they are spot weld holes. So that's for the spring purge. Alright, so got that panel cut out. That's my first time to ever do anything like that. Really wasn't too bad. That spot weld drill bit worked well. The drill bit in the center is spring loaded, so as soon as you get with the center punch, you know, you drill for a bit to get a nice solid spot for that drill to sit, and then you press a little bit and it just cuts right into the metal. I went through it pretty easy. The only stuff that really gave me any fits at all was this is where it's rusted, and that's only because I couldn't find the spot weld to drill out, honestly. I mean, otherwise it would have come out too. I just couldn't tell where the spot weld was. But everything else, I mean, came out real clean. And so the, so yeah, old one, new one. So those will go back in the next video. We'll do the install. So be sure to subscribe and hit the like button and come check a beginner doing his welding. I've got some welding background, but I'm not a professional by any means. And I've never really done any body work type welding. It's only ever been, you know, welding hooks to a trailer type of thing. So yeah, see how it goes. Did a quick little test fit, and you know, you can get it to fall right in. So, I mean, it still needs to be better aligned than that, but that's the fit. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.